Welcome back, viewers, to another episode of Questions with Matt and Mark. This week, Mark, I'll let you begin.
All right, so this week's topic is real estate. So the housing market is going bonkers right now.
Yep.
What's the one piece of financial advice that you would give to someone looking to buy a home in this market?
My 2 cents, Mark, would be this. This is not a time to be looking at real estate, in my opinion, as an investment. I know a lot of people, for their net worth, a lot of it is tied up in their home. But I think this is a period where if you're looking for a house, look at it for, if you plan to be there for more than 10 years. You can't look at these types of prices today and try to justify the numbers as an investment, in my opinion. This has to be an emotional desire or a functional desire. We need more bedrooms, or, this is where I want to be. This is the perfect house for the next 10 years. In my opinion, this is not a time where you're trying to justify the numbers from an investment standpoint.
Right, I think that's good.
My 2 cents.
I think people always are looking at a house as an investment, but sometimes it's much more than that.
Absolutely.
If you're having twins or triplets, or your family size is increasing by 3 or 4, then you might need to get into a house. And I don't want to have people just be afraid to go out and buy a house right now because prices are high if they really need it.
Yeah.
So there's an emotional aspect, in my opinion, to it too, that I think people need to think about.
I love that, Mark. So let's stay on the same real estate path. Why don't you talk to viewers about how these higher real estate prices are affecting the economy, and if you feel spicy, where you kind of see it going from here?
Yeah, so number one, I feel for first-time home buyers right now, because they're coming into this and they're like, wow, how am I able to afford a house like that? And I think that the major thing in play is just the simple law of supply and demand.
Yep.
There's not enough houses on the market, hence not enough supply, and there's more money circulating throughout the economy today, which is the demand part of it. So you have more demand, not enough supply, so prices are going to go up,
Yep.
right? And I think that this could go on for a couple more years. I'm not saying it has to be 10% plus increase year over year for the next 5 years, but I think people get a misconception that every pullback in real estate prices has to look like it did in 07 and 08.
In short term, we're programmed to think that.
Right, exactly. And the environment now is completely different than it was. It's a completely different situation, or a different issue or problem, if you will, than it was in 2007, 2008. So I don't think there's going to be a massive correction in house prices, but over time, the pendulum will swing back towards the middle and prices will come down, but it's really anyone's best guess as to when that's going to happen.
So to kind of prove your point, just a couple stats to throw out to the viewers, and we talked about this on our Independent Advisors podcast. We talked about the average credit rating of mortgage originations, and 2/3 of them are above 750 on a FICO credit score. The other big statistic is you're looking at it from a dynamic of supply and demand. And back in the mid-2000s, we had so much more supply. And so there's so many more people locking in at those higher prices. You're just not seeing the number of transactions, right, that you saw before.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
All right, viewers, check us out next week for another episode of Questions with Matt and Mark, and we will see you then.